Welcome back to another Cinema Talks video, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down and reviewing Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. So we got the first 4 episodes of Stranger Things Season 5, and it was insane. So I'm going to break down each episode and talk about why it was great. So the first episode opens with Will in the Upside Down all the way back in Season 1. We see what it was like for him to be captured by Vecna. So after that flashback, we cut back to present day a little bit after Season 4. Hawkins is still a disaster like in Season 4, and Hawkins is basically quarantined. We see that Holly Wheeler does wave at some shadowy figure out the window. We also see that the military has a giant gate to the Upside Down in their base. So basically they're going in and out of the Upside Down. We see at school that Dustin does get judged for wearing the Hellfire shirt. We see Eleven training with Hopper and Joyce because he wants to join Hopper to go into the Upside Down. The team has been doing these things called crawls where they go into the Upside Down to find Vecna. They have done over 30 crawls since Season 4, and Eleven wants to go with Hopper this time. Murray has also been sneaking into the area that they're quarantined in to give them supplies for the crawl. We also see Holly talk to an imaginary friend at school who she calls What's-It. Dustin goes to visit Eddie's grave, but there's blood writing on it. Then Andy and his friends approach Dustin. As Dustin tries to protect himself, he ends up getting beat down. They overpower him and beat Lee badly, which is horrible for my boy Dustin. And I hated to see Dustin go through that. So now the team sneaks Hopper in the Upside Down, but going in the back of a military truck. But they end up crashing, and a Demogorgon starts to attack all of the guards. Hopper does make it out and doesn't get attacked though. So now Hopper is stuck in the Upside Down. Will realizes that he saw through the Demogorgon's eyes and that they're headed for Nancy and Mike's house. Eleven and Nancy drive to the Wheeler's house, but when they get there, they find Mike's mom on the ground and Ted is also injured. And they find out that the Demogorgon did take Holly. So that first episode was great, and it was so good to see the team try to sneak Hopper into the Upside Down. And I mean, for a first episode, it was awesome. I totally thought that Ted and Karen were screwed, but they both ended up being alive. I will give my overall score of Volume 1 at the end of this video. So Episode 2 is insane, and it's titled The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. So in this episode, we explore more of Mr. What's-It, and basically he told Holly that he's going to save her and her family from the monsters in Hawkins. So after Nancy finds her mom on the ground, Eleven runs into the Upside Down. She follows the Demogorgon and eventually runs into Hopper, and her try to find the Demogorgon together. Eventually they find this giant wall that seems to be bordering all around Hawkins. So Lucas, Nancy, and Mike are all back in the hospital. When Lucas realizes that Holly was taken 3 days before Will was taken. So Lucas goes to visit Max, but Mike starts to realize something. Mike and Nancy go to visit their mom, and they tell her mom to write down everything that she knows about Mr. What's-It. They ask her if Holly ever told her a name, and she writes Henry. That reveals that Vecna, aka Henry, has been Mr. What's-It this whole time. Will and Robin go on a little side mission, and they realize that Will can spy through Vecna by looking in his eyes. I also love the relationship between Steve and Jonathan as they're constantly fighting over Nancy. So we see that Vecna took Holly into a different world in his memories, and he's keeping her in her house that looks just like his. Vecna tells Holly that he's going to save her and he's going to save more of the kids. This episode was great, and the practical effects on the Demogorgons were awesome as well. This episode shows that Season 5 wasn't slowing down at all, and it's not holding back. Now Stranger Things Season 5 Episode 3 was insane. It picks up more on Mr. What's-It and what his plan is, and it also just raises the stakes overall of the season. So far, everything is connecting wonderful in this new season. So Hopper and Eleven do try to break into the wall I was talking about earlier. The military ends up pulling up as Hopper tries to defend him and Eleven. Eleven ends up destroying the military troops, and they take one for hostage. Eleven goes in his mind and realizes that the lab is hiding something. We see Lucas and Mike go to get Erica's help to help save the next target. We realize that Vecna's targeting this next kid named Derek. This episode does also expand on Will and Robin's relationship, which I enjoyed a lot. Steve and Dustin's relationship was as awesome as always in these episodes. We do also find out that Jonathan was going to propose to Nancy, but hasn't done that yet. So we see them trying to save Derek and his family by Erica eating some pie with her family, but they don't know that the pie has some sleepy pills in it. We see them set a trap for the Demogorgon that's coming to take Derek. The trap does work when it gets there, but it ends up escaping. But Dustin and Steve use the radio signal to follow it. Nancy and Jonathan get in the car as they go to follow the Demogorgon. Now at the end of this episode, we get an insane reveal. In the dream world where Holly is, she gets a note to meet Henry by the rocks. She uses the note to follow the path to get to the rocks, but when she gets there, Henry isn't there. It's Max. Then that episode ends. I mean, that was a great fast-paced episode, and it ends on a cliffhanger. The relationship between many of the characters was awesome in this episode. Now, episode 4 is titled Sorcerer. The episode opens with Joyce trying to calm Derek down, but Derek does end up trying to escape, but Will stops him. Then he gets that feeling and he sees through the Demogorgon's eyes and it's running towards the barn that they're in. Joyce starts defending the kids with an axe as the Demogorgon attacks, but then Steve ends up running it over with his car. They continue to follow the Demogorgon and they end up driving into the Upside Down from a gate that the Demogorgon teared. When they get inside, they crash into that same wall that was surrounding Hawkins in the Upside Down. Mike and Lucas realize that the military is taking the kids that may be in danger and keeping them in their base. We see more of Holly and Max in that dream world, and Max explains to Holly how she got there. The cave that Max made a home out of is a place that Vecna can't go and is scared of. So Steve, Dustin, Jonathan, and Nancy contact Hopper and Eleven from inside the Upside Down. Hopper and Eleven about to break into the military base because they believe that Vecna might be there. On the right side up, they all decide to use Derek to sneak all of the kids out. Robin, Mike, and Lucas cut a hole in the bathroom and they start sneaking kids through. But then they end up getting caught. Robin takes some kids into a truck with Murray, but the Demogorgons start chasing them, and there's not one, not two, there's 3 of them. We do see more of what happened to Max in that dream world after that scene. Remember, all of this time, she's still in a coma. Then we see Eleven and Hopper successfully break into the lab. They do meet Dr. K as she sends some sort of tentacle out and starts choking Hopper. The rest of the kids get taken by the military, besides Lucas. Lucas is still in the tunnel with the 2 other kids. Then many Demogorgons start jumping out of the ground from the Upside Down and start attacking all of the guards. Mike tells everyone to follow him as they try to escape. Will collapses again as he's feeling the connection to the Demogorgons growing. Then we cut back to Eleven as she's still in the lab and we see Callie all hooked up. By the way, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing her name right. Let me know if it's Callie or something different. So we do get the return of Callie, which is Eleven's sister that we saw all the way in Season 2, Episode 7. But then we see Vecna come out of the gate from the Upside Down. Mike and Joyce are speechless while looking at Vecna, and Joyce tries to stop him. Vecna approaches Will and picks him up. He tells Will why he chose him, that he was easily broken, and why he's choosing all of these kids. Vecna leaves Will lying while he walks back into the gate. Vecna sends Demogorgons after Mike, Robin, and even Lucas in the tunnels. But then, the Demogorgons suddenly stop. The camera shifts over and we see that Will has powers. It turns out that he is stopping all of these Demogorgons from hitting his friends. He ends up killing and destroying all of the Demogorgons. The episode ends with him wiping the blood off of his nose. So man, these first 4 episodes were insane, and there are so many more ways that they can continue this story. These first 4 episodes were great, and they are not holding back at all this season. So for my overall review of Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 1, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. I am so excited to see the next couple episodes of this season. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you guys thought about Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 1, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.